We're live. Just tell me if people are there so we can start bullshitting. Are people there? Hello, people. They're coming. They are coming. I'm so spoiled. Not spoiled. Spoiled. So what's up? We have people? Okay.
All right.
So, welcome guys.
Excited to be here.
I'm Pina. This is Elizabeth. I'm sorry. English is not my first language. Elizabeth Gibbs.
Gibbs, yeah.
Not Dibs.
Not dibs.
Gibbs. Welcome to Florida.
I love it here so far.
You do?
I do.
Ew.
The plants life here is on another level. Like it's
You're
so
from
tropical.
Oh, you're from Texas. That's why.
Yeah, and like I had a palm tree in my backyard that was huge and gorgeous, and it died during the freeze. And y'all are just plethora of palm trees, and I'm just in heaven.
Well, do you like chafing and sweat
Well, we
under
have
your
to.
armpits?
We have to do that already in Texas. It's
I
so
know,
hot.
that's what I'm saying.
It's even hotter there than it is here right now.
You love it? Yeah. And then I remembered you're from Texas.
Yeah, so I do love this. It's actually like 4 degrees cooler here.
Did you go to the beach yet?
No, I have not.
Are you going?
I don't know. Do we have time for a beach? Maybe we can do a little beach trip. That'd be nice.
All right, so what do we
Our
have?
waters are not
Tomorrow,
Yes.
we have another yet wonderful webinar going on, taught by Gibbs, because I can't pronounce Elizabeth.
You know, I actually have a hard time saying that, and that's kind of why I go by Gibbs for that. I mean, who needs that's like 1, 2, Elizabeth. It's like 4 syllables. That's just.
Why do you think? Wait,
it's just
what's
too many.
what's my name?
Pina?
What's my name? Oh, exactly. Because
Or Pina P.
yeah, because
Say that
my
last
name is really hey, I hear you here.
Yeah.
My name is. Don't pronounce my name.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Pina's good. Pina
Yeah.
and Gibbs.
4 letters.
Or Liz.
both.
Even 3 letters. Like.
Are you okay with Liz?
Yeah, I'm okay with Liz.
Just okay?
Yeah, I'm good with
Then
it.
it's gonna be Gibbs.
Just don't call me Beth. I feel like people call me Beth, and I'm like, don't call me Beth. I'm not a Beth.
All right, Gibbs it is.
Gibbs. It's good.
So, okay, back to our webinar tomorrow. It is a very popular subject.
Yes, the
So,
doodle craze.
Let's talk doodles. First, you just recently moved back to Texas, right?
Yes,
And you have your own van now, right?
yes, I have a mobile van.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how many doodles do you do?
I
Like
would
a
say,
percentage, like an
I
average.
would say it's probably like 40% of our clientele to
Okay.
50, 40 to 50, I would say.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably on average everybody, but I know a lot of
Yes.
people who do more than that.
Yeah, I honestly, I did more, but and now that I'm mobile, I capped my weight limit at 70 pounds, so I got rid of all of those ginormous doodles, and that kind of helped cut
Right.
the extra ones, because they're like, they breed them to be so massive.
I know.
Sometimes.
And do you know that originally it was a small dog? They bred them for purpose. They had a purpose in Australia.
I didn't know.
There was a purpose to breed this dog. It was a miniature poodle, and they were little dog, not little, smaller than your average long-legged terrier like Carrier Wheaton.
Oh wow, that's
Just
pretty
a little
small.
small. Yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
Small to medium.
Yeah.
And of course, Americans, and I am an American, don't need to make everything grand.
I know.
And that's what happened.
They Texasized them.
Yep. Oh, well, Texas has them, exactly.
Yeah.
So, doodles they do not make financial sense to me. Would you agree with that?
As far as like for grooming wise goes,
Yeah.
so I was like, I would agree with that until I started going by hourly. So now that I charge hourly, I really don't feel as much resentment towards doing it. I think The biggest thing that I actually learned from Jess Rono, my favorite advice she ever gave me was, if you feel resentment, then charge more. And I live by that rule now. So I do a doodle, I feel no resentment, because if it takes me 3 hours, I'm charging a 3-hour haircut. No resentment. And then if the owners are sticker shocked, then they don't come back, and that's okay too.
Good.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it is something that is new, hourly
Yes.
charge,
Yeah.
which I've been doing for a few years now, quite
Yeah.
a few. And I think that's going to resolve a doodle issue.
I totally agree.
Right?
I totally agree.
And do you feel like, I remember when they just started to get really, really popular, some of the breeders, I'm not saying, or people who, I can't even, not breeders, people who sold puppies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a selling point that you
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
need to, you don't
Low
need to groom,
maintenance.
no maintenance, you don't need to groom
Yeah.
this dog more than twice a year.
Yes.
Right, and they're hypoallergenic.
Correct.
How the fuck do you know what comes out of that vagina?
Yeah. I mean,
It's
they're-
like a
it's a total
box of
guess.
chocolates.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get. But before they even come out, there was a selling point to people. Hypoallergenic, you don't need to groom them more than twice a year, like
Yeah.
we said,
Just
and
stay cute.
blah blah. They're
Yeah.
cute. They have a lot of hair. I agree with that. It's
Yeah.
not. It's by no means. Dogs have nothing to do with that. It's not a
Yes,
dog's fault.
It's totally not the dog's fault.
Absolutely
And I have so many
not.
doodle clients that I'm like, they're some of my favorites
Right.
because I just love the dogs so much.
Exactly. So, is it getting better with that? Because I don't have any doodles that I groom, so I can't even
Right, it's hard to
see the
gauge.
progress. Right, with
Yeah.
that, you don't need to groom them often. It's hypoallergenic. Is it getting better with that?
So from my perspective, it has gotten better. And I would say that, first off, there's a lot more, since COVID, there's so many, online webinars like we're doing tomorrow. There's just so much more education out there that can be easily accessible for people that would not have taken the time to go to a Groom Expo. But I would say the biggest thing for me is when I raise my prices, all of those clients that are so like, oh, I only want to come in twice a year, I want to get as cheap as possible. And so I raised my prices to a master groomer price when I was in the salon. And all of those clients like weeded out, like they left. So I realized that the only clients that stayed were the ones that wanted to have a cute dog. Like they wanted to listen, they listened to me, they respected me, they were willing to pay the higher price because they valued me and their pet. And because of that, I was able to get such a great clientele now, and all the doodles that have stayed throughout, like I said, I love them. So I personally don't have any experience of any more of clients that are wanting to fight you on the price, or and if they do want to fight you on the price in the beginning, that's a red flag. Stick to your price, because if you budge on your price, then they're going to want you to budge on so many other things.
Absolutely.
So that's just a red flag in the beginning. Stay firm to your price, continue your education, have them on a routine, and I genuinely don't have
Good.
any
Good.
really issues. But I've been there, and I've worked at PetSmart for years. For the first 9 years of my career was at PetSmart. So I understand the struggle.
Yeah, but you know what gets
those
me
clients.
every time?
Yeah.
Yes, I hear there are people that fight you on that price.
Oh yeah.
So if you had $7,000 to buy this puppy,
Insane.
you don't have the money to groom it?
Yeah.
Like that was in my
That
head
was like their
every
only
time.
investment. I feel like they're like, I save all my money for the dog, and I left nothing else.
Right. So, I
So-
mean, you know what? Pet owners need to be educated more than probably
Absolutely.
anybody else.
I could not
Because-
agree more.
Yeah. Because if you want to buy a dog
Mm-hmm.
and you're thinking, I want to buy a doodle, they need to be educated first on what it takes to have a doodle,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then buy a puppy. And some percentage does research, breeds,
Mm-hmm.
whatever fits your family, your vibe,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But a lot of people don't. And this is why we end up with so many dogs in shelters.
Yeah.
So many.
I agree.
It's so sad, man. So
It
sad.
is so sad. And speaking of that topic too, like I know doodles are the main thing, but there's so much like about adopt, don't shop, and and so forth. And I believe in if you shop for the correct, quality pet from a quality breeder, that you're not going to have all these dogs in the shelters anymore. So instead of promoting like just adopt all these dogs that are getting wrongfully, bred, we should be pushing, correct breeding, educational breeding, responsible breeding, and so forth. And that would eliminate all of the problems.
Absolutely.
And, it's great if you get a dog from a shelter. I'm all for it. I don't personally buy dogs from a shelter because I like to know the lineage, the health, what I'm going to get. But I do volunteer, free grooms. I have gift certificates for shelters and so forth. I try to do what I can.
Yeah, but that's different. I do too. I would love to do volunteering for shelters all the time. That's different.
Yeah.
How those dogs got there in the first place is a completely different story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now they're there, I'm all for helping.
Yeah, I want to help as much as I can.
Whatever it takes. But how they got there, and I could assure you 1,000,000%. I've been working with breeders and co-breed over 20 years now. You will never find our dogs in any shelter in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Never, ever, ever would you see a responsible breeder dog in the shelter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's in the contract.
And
for any reason at any age, the dog comes back to us.
Yeah.
Any reason. We don't care what it is. So first, they get to that shelter because of the backyard breeders, and that's not us. We breed responsibly. We care about it.
Yeah,
and we don't make any money either.
Yeah.
So
it's all for love.
it's all for the love of the breed.
Yeah.
It's all for the health. It's
Yeah.
all for longevity. It's not for money.
Yeah, because I would say like all of my dogs, that come from show line, I have all their health certificates. They cost a fraction of what these deals are going for.
You can imagine
And-
us.
Yeah.
We do all the health testing.
Yeah, I'm like,
Thousands of dollars.
we show them. We have proven that they are champions and that they're such good quality, and all that money that they put into it, they're still so much cheaper than a doodle is going for right now.
Quarter of a price
Seriously.
for
It's
a multi-poo.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the dog's fault. We love them all,
Yes.
but why people do that, I will never fucking understand.
I agree.
So
And
it
I
gets
think it's
me.
something that I'd love to, that I'm glad that we're talking about this, because it's something that I feel that genuinely should be talked about more and pushed out more.
Yes.
Like I said, instead of versus just only adopt on shop. Let's
Like,
talk
what
more
does
about
that mean? Let's
right.
explain what that means.
Yeah.
Anywhere you see a post on social media, adopt on shop, blah, blah, we need to explain.
Yes.
Not get into an argument or
Absolutely.
a fight or whatever. Explain what that means.
Yeah.
What a breeder actually is and what breeders that general public thinks that is not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need to educate, and whoever is out there, guys, breeders, pet groomers, show groom, whoever you are that are listening to us right now that has to do with the industry and breeders and dogs, grooming, mutts, whatever. Please, if you see something, explain, educate, and maybe collectively we'll get to a better place there.
Yes. I would love that. Just for the
Yeah.
health of the pet, it's so hard to see these dogs when you get these doodles and they have like, dwarf legs or, what they're breeding for them to be small. So they have all these other health issues. And for as a groomer and as a dog lover between both of us, it's hard to see the dogs,
It is difficult.
in the
yes.
shape. They're not even able to run correctly. And I'm thinking because they have this big roach back, I'm like, that dog's going to have arthritis at a young age. He's not going to be able to live a full life. And it's hard to see that.
It's very hard to see that. And, knowing what responsible breeders do to have a healthy breed. And then, what? F2s, F10s, F12s,
I know.
F15s.
I know.
What is that?
I have no idea.
And if there's somebody
I
that could
know.
explain that to us, I would love that.
I know. I would love. I always get told I have a F3B or something, and I'm like, okay.
Like, what does that mean? Does that mean you do a little more health testing? Does that mean that your bloodlines are getting stable? Do you
Yeah.
have consistent litters now? Or do you have a hand strip dog and a fluffy dog in the same litter?
know.
What does
Yeah.
that mean? What does
Yeah,
that
I
F mean? And that's a funny letter.
Yeah.
Because I want to say fucking 1, fucking 2, fucking 4. because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
I need to know what that means, and
I know. I need to learn what that
maybe
means.
we'll get to a healthy dog one day.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all of them not healthy, of course,
Yeah.
but you don't know. That's
No, you
the
don't
thing.
know.
Like I said, box of chocolate.
Yeah. it's a
Run,
box of chocolate.
Forrest. All right. Well, and since we groom them, not me, and it's not, I mean, it's by choice now. I don't want to groom large dogs that don't
Yeah.
behave
Yeah.
usually. And like Gibbs just asked me, how tall are you? I'm like barely
Yeah.
5 feet
Yeah.
and not a spring chicken, and my back hurts, so.
Yeah, my back hurts too.
I don't really want to do a large dog that I have to train.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yes, it's possible we train and eventually we have a very well behaved dog on the table, sweet and everything. But I myself personally, and just me, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know how you, like, if you have a big doodle on your table, like, how do you reach the face? Like, you're like this. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, I went to compete in Europe. 2009 actually. What is it? 13 years ago. My first
Yes.
world championship, 2009, and then everybody was competing in individuals. I paid money to borrow a dog. The dog came in. It was gonna be fast. In the cast, pelted, cast, an hour and a half before competition.
of course.
It was a standard poodle too. And of course I said no, and I don't think I got the money back, or I did, it doesn't matter. So somebody else volunteered a dog, which was a standard poodle, and I didn't realize we didn't have these. They were just tables on 4 legs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I groomed that dog standing on the chair. And I always say that, and people heard me say that all the time. I fucking hate you people that could stand behind a standard poodle and groom the top knot from the behind and see both sides of the fucking neck.
You know, I'd say there's pros and cons, because I feel like everything in the grooming industry is made for like cap 5, 6, 5, 7, and then the rest of us
She has a number.
like, I mean, like I'm 5'11" without shoes. So with shoes, I'm like at least over 6 foot, and I'm always like doing this whole number. And then sometimes I look at myself in the picture, I'm like, my shoulders. I blame it on the grooming like this because I have to come down all the time.
But at least you can put some, what do you call those? I
Oh,
never use them, so I don't know what they are.
The bed risers.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I have to stack them. Like at Groom Texas this past weekend, I had 2 bed risers on stacked, and then I had the table on top, and I was still like hunching over,
Yeah,
grooming on my knees.
I have experience with that because every groom team I went to compete overseas, I had Lindsay with me.
Oh yeah,
And she's
yeah, we're about the same
probably
height.
the same height.
Yeah,
And yeah, we were looking for bed raisers because it's Europe. They don't have electric tables.
Oh.
Maybe now they do, but they didn't.
oh man, that's rough.
So poor Liz.
I
We
know.
were, yeah. And,
Thankfully, she still can knock out a groom no matter what, but an amazing groom. But that's
She
the
could,
struggle.
yes.
She probably had ice her back.
but we didn't want her to hurt. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it would
Yeah,
be, it would be painful.
It is.
Do we have any
painful from
questions so
experience.
far?
I'm not sure if people know that they can't ask questions. So if anybody has any questions for
Where do
Pina
they
or
go?
Gibbs, then go ahead in the comments. We're keeping an eye on it. Somebody did mention about that they groom a doodle. Let's see if I can find it. A 14-year-old mini doodle and has 40 pounds of tumors.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's awful.
My first thought was like, I'm surprised. I didn't even know there was mini doodles 14 years ago. So that was probably like the first of its generation, a trailblazer there. But
Those were the originals. They really were
Oh, yeah,
very
that's
small
right.
when they got here to this country.
yeah, I've been in the grooming industry for 13 years as a bather for 1 and grooming for 12. I don't remember all the grooming doodles until at least a couple years into my grooming career.
Yeah, they've gotten very popular maybe like 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody correct us? Because I think it's like 5, maybe 7.
Yeah, 5 to 7.
Maybe
somewhere
7,
around
yeah.
there. And now it's like, I got a new dog. And I'm like, a doodle?
Listen.
We do have a typical pricing question.
Okay.
What would you charge for small, medium, large doodles?
Yeah. So.
Matted and not matted.
Yeah, so like I said, for me, the biggest game-changing thing I've done is charge by time. I have a base price. Like if you go on my website, it's like barkwoodgrooming.com. You can see like my base prices for the per weight. But typically, that's just give them just so I have like a ballpark idea. But for me, I can do an average small dog, from start to finish. Let's say like an easy guard comb Shih Tzu or whatnot. I give myself an hour to hour and 15 minutes tops. So if I'm going to do a 2-hour doodle, then I need to make sure that I'm getting compensated the same amount as I would do for the time I would spend on that Shih Tzu. Because if not, and what I'm seeing a lot of is we're only charging like $15 more to do a larger dog. And again, you can't really give like a doodle X amount because sometimes I have a doodle that gets like a 4-blade all over, and then I have some that are complete hand scissor, and their prices are totally different. So just really go by time. Don't reference my time per se, but just see, okay, for you, if it takes you an hour to do a Shih Tzu, a nice Shih Tzu, then that should be your minimum hourly rate. And if it takes you an hour and a half to do, let's say, a Shih Tzu, then have it priced by that time because everybody's at a different level. But that's really going to help overall. And my dematting, for me, I charge $2 a minute to demat, which is a touch more than my hourly rate. But that's because it really burns my shoulders.
And how
so much work.
Handling charge.
A handling charge? I don't think I have a doodle that I.
Not only a doodle. I mean,
yeah,
I understand,
just in general.
If you have to fight with the dog, you obviously spend a little more time.
Yeah. So then it would just go into the overall time.
So it would just go into the overall time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how I would treat those.
Yeah, me too. I'm just, people do different things.
Yeah.
So I usually like to ask questions. We've had, a few people, and people do.
Yeah, and everything. Yeah, everybody does everything so different.
Yeah. But I have to say, hourly charge has become very popular. I'm so happy about that.
Me too. It's been a game changer for me because I know before I was like, okay, breed, this price. That's kind of how I was raised on the grooming industry. My breed equals this much. So when I stepped out into my first mom and pop shop where I had a lot more leniency, I just kind of kept that rhythm, and I was doing doodles for like $85 that were taking 2 time slots, and then I was doing one small dog for $60 that was taking 1 time slot.
Exactly. Financially doesn't make sense.
Financially, I would do 4 doodles, so that equals $85. I'm like, that times, $300 and something dollars, and then versus if I was doing 8 small dogs, which would be almost $500.
Exactly. So. No financial sense.
Yeah, no financial sense. You're going to be dead tired after doing 4 doodles back to back, assuming that you do 8 dogs a day per se. I was exhausted after doing a doodle trim. So, you just got to keep that in mind in your pricing and so forth. Because if you're happy doing the dog, you're not going to be resentful seeing these doodles come in here. Because when I pull up to my doodle clients, I have doodles that hug me. They're just such hugging dogs, which I love. So I'm like, I give them a big hug. I'm so excited to see them. They're excited to see me. But they wouldn't be excited to see me if I had kind of like, oh, I'm here to do, so-and-so today. And if I had that energy that I was putting to the doodle, they're not going to be excited to see me.
No resentment.
Yeah, no resentment. Just, again, if you have resentment doing that, don't do it. Or charge a price that you will.
Stop. I'm sorry. Hell.
Hey, so we got a confirmation that someone did a cockapoo.
Someone what?
Someone did a cockapoo 32 years ago. And that large doodles, they've been doing for 15 years. But if they're not mistaken, it's been about 20 years and popular the last 10 years. In California, at least, they're saying.
Yeah, for the last 10 years.
Cockapoos?
Just doodles.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen cockapoos before I saw doodles.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you find it more difficult to groom different types of doodle hair? Is there a type you prefer? Do you approach the groom differently?
Yeah, so.
I think we're going to talk probably a lot about this tomorrow night on the webinar.
Yes, yeah, we'll definitely talk a lot about this tomorrow on the webinar, but I would say, yeah, there's like we mentioned earlier, you never know what you're going to get. I have a doodle client that they signed up on my website. It was 50 pounds, so I gave them a little over 2 hours of time, and then when it walked up to me, it was a golden retriever. with a little with a little extra little fuzzies here and there. And so I groom that dog like a golden retriever. Every now and then we get one that's groomed and it has like a terrier coat. And when you're gonna groom that, sometimes you can even hand strip them.
Yeah.
And then so I'll just groom that, so forth. And as far as what products I use too, because I use a product that's for drop coated dogs or for fluffier hair. So that will vary too, based on the hair texture. But yeah, we'll approach them totally different ways, and I'll talk more in detail about that tomorrow as well.
How is it that my phone is screaming and the sound is off?
Well, on Instagram, like you can, my phone lives on, I don't know why, but the ringtone like drives me nuts. So, and everybody has the same text tone. So yeah, my phone lives on silent, but every now and then on Instagram, it'll just like, if you tap it like a certain way, it'll just like start shouting at you.
It doesn't care about the silent.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't care. I know.
Yeah.
I live on silence mode,
I
silent
don't,
mode.
but now it's on silent. It's like, stop screaming at me.
So we got someone in from Australia watching.
Awesome.
And they're going to be doing their first ever grooming competition next weekend with
Cool.
their doodle.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
With a doodle. What are your best tips for going into a grooming competition? Maybe specifically with a doodle.
For the doodle competition?
For like probably
With
in
the
general.
doodle? They competing with the doodle? My best advice would be spend as much time as you can on prep,
Yeah.
especially on a doodle. Nobody's timing you on the prep, so spend time. You prep, then check again, then you think it's prep, check
Yes,
again.
check again. Use a fine tooth comb at the end and make sure you can really get all those tangles out. And I'll say-
Toes, between the
Yes,
toes.
the armpits, behind the ears. Those are some tricky little areas.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then how much time do you guys get to groom a doodle in Australia?
And do they have any requirements, like how much hair you need to bring in and so forth? Because I would say something that I remember whenever I signed up for my first competition, it said like, they need at least 6 weeks of growth. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do 8 weeks because I just really want to make sure I have more than enough hair.
You shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, my feedback from my judge, who was Jody Murphy, actually, she was like one of my first poodle judges. She's like, you could have, if the face wasn't shaved, you could have brought him back in and groomed him all over again for the grooming contest because he was still that hairy. Especially as somebody who's starting out in grooming competitions, just don't come in with an abundance of coat. Would be my advice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, you do need to make a difference, but not.
Yes.
I mean,
not an
don't
extreme
shoot yourself
makeover.
in the foot.
Yes. Yeah, because you're going to go against all these other dogs that already kind of have somewhat of a shape in or so forth. But yeah, enough for transformation, but not an extreme makeover.
But I'm sure there's a set of rules, right?
She says she has 10 weeks of growth. I don't know if that's
I don't
the
know what the
requirement.
rule says, yeah.
And that she has an hour and 45 minutes to do the groom.
Oh, okay. She needs to go read the rules, and if there's a minimum amount of hair that it requires, go back and get some hair off.
Yes.
It'll never be finished in an hour and 45 minutes, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
It's a lot of dog for an hour and 45 minutes. Unless it's a mini doodle
Right?
from Australia.
Oh, the Australian
Yeah.
doodles. Those Australian Labradoodles.
Isn't what
I
that
don't know
where
if
they
they're actually
started?
from Australia
That's
or
where
how
they
that
came
works,
from.
but- Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They actually have really cute. They're very cute.
They are adorable.
Every time I see one or I have one, I'm like, oh my god.
Adorable.
Very thick hair though. Very thick.
You
Very
know
cute.
what? I love scissoring that hair.
Yeah.
It is so plush
Yeah.
when it's finished. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What best advice for venturing out and starting your own salon?
I'm not going to say nice things. So Gibbs,
Well, I went from a corporate salon where I did a lot of like management and training there, and then I went to a mom and pop shop for I think like 3 or 4 years, and then I just got my own mobile business 4 months ago. So I'm pretty fresh into it. I would say for me, I decided to go mobile because with my lifestyle, I thought there would be like a lot more flexibility. And I like the thought of doing less dogs a day and just, being able to charge more because you're going to the clients. But for my opinion, salons, I can't really work in an environment where there's like 8 dogs all on a table. There's a lot of noise going on. There's a lot of chaos. There's phones ringing. There's this and that. That's a lot for me. So I would say for me personally, it just kind of needs to be more, I like it to be a little bit more intimate environment. I find that the dogs respond a lot better if there's not so much commotion going on. But aside that, I would say hire people for things you're not good at. The best advice that I got. I would always be like, oh, like, let me work on my weaknesses. Like, I'm not good at this, so I'm just going to really try to nail this. But now I'm at the point in my career in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm not good at doing my taxes, right? I have a tax guy. I have an accountant who does all that. And I'm not trying to learn taxes or accounting. I'm just paying him so I can focus on what I am good at, which is grooming dogs. I also have somebody who does my website and so forth. So again, I hired out for that. Things that I'm not really good at technically, building a website, had somebody do that. I had people that mentor me and I ask questions all the time. So if you have somebody that you can mentor under, that will be big help because they really help you kind of tell you all the things that didn't work for them and that can help you out.
So bottom line is, don't overwhelm yourself with doing everything by yourself because you're going to burn out.
Yes, yeah,
When you
it's
open
a lot.
the business and then running the business, you have to have time and space in your brain. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing everything on your own, overwhelming, burning out is not going to do well for your business.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's a lot because you're like,
if you're not ready financially to open the business to be able to pay people, it's not the right time to open the business. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say because I'm on month 4, maybe 4.5 months now into my mobile, and I already had to hire somebody 2 months in, like full time hired somebody in my mobile unit because it was just a lot even to do that on my own because then you're like. You're making appointments, you're checking clients in and out, you're doing the cleaning, you're just like, you're overseeing so many, plus a haircut, like all those things you're doing. Then you got to groom a dog.
Right?
And it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I am not a superhuman, I'm not a superhero, and while I may try to be, what I end up doing is I end up burning myself out and taking 10 steps back. So as soon as I realized, I was like, I'm working 11 hours a day right now trying to maintain this mobile unit of just one. So I hired somebody, great, best decision. So yeah. I'm much happier now.
So you do have to be ready to open in every aspect.
Yeah.
Financially is one, and then everything else. Don't try to be a hero
because
you're gonna burn out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got another question. Well, we got a few. So whenever you guys are ready for them, let me know. When you have a new client, do you require a non-refundable deposit?
I do personally. For me, because I'm starting, I have a lot of new clients going into mobile, and I did not do mobile before. I charge a $50 non-refundable deposit, and then they have 48 hours in advance that they need to let me know if they need to move the appointment.
Yeah, 48 hours is the minimum they need to tell you when you deal with groomers. That should be a rule for everybody.
Yeah.
48, not 24.
Yeah, because like 24, that's just
you can't fill.
Yeah, and it's just
a
it's
spot
kind of
in
stressful
24
too.
hours. Yeah, very.
So yeah, and when I worked in a shop, we implemented the deposits when I was in a shop, and I didn't own it. I was an employee, and I had asked the owner if we could do it. My no-shows were so significantly less. And then if I did get a no-show, which was so rare, you're like, it's cool because I got a deposit, and then you're not mad about it. You're like, I just got paid for an hour. Yeah. To do, I don't know, whatever. Clean your room, clean your blades. I don't know. There's always something you can do. But yes, to deposits.
All right. How do you deal with a customer that comes with a party poodle and is matted, but don't want to do a haircut, and it doesn't agree with your advice that you give?
You send them away. You fire that client. They could go to the shop around the corner and get advice
Yes.
there. Because, or, hey, if you want to deal with that, by all means, but according to that question, I don't think a groomer wants to deal with that.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to get the confidence to be able to fire a client, because it is terrifying to like tell somebody, or for me at least, I am naturally a people pleaser. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to upset the client. But if I'm pulling up to a house, because as I'm mobile now, if I have to pull up to the house and I don't even like, I'm like, oh, I just pulled to this house, I don't want to be here. Like I've been in this career for enough time to know that I can find other clients that I can be looking forward to pulling up to their house. So if anyone makes me feel like I just don't want to do that dog, I'm upset to see that dog on my schedule, I'll release them, because somebody else can honestly either deal with it, but sometimes just releasing them too is like a lesson for them, and they're like, okay, like that was a wake up call that they might have needed.
That's a good word. I'm going to use it. Release them.
Yes.
I love the word, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm releasing you, and I'm hoping, with the best intentions.
Better than fired.
Yeah, like I genuinely hope the best, and I'm like, we're not a good fit. Maybe another groomer like doesn't mind that, and that's a good fit for them, but it's not for you. Or me.
But hey, those that you release are always back.
Yes. And but you train
Always.
them, but now they're like a lot more appreciative. Sometimes you release them, and then they go to the person that will take them, and then they get
They'll
this
go
like,
to a couple though.
yeah.
They'll go to a couple,
Yeah.
and then they're back, and you're like, how much was it last time? Hold on a second. $100. It's $225 today. That's what you do.
I'm just saying, like, if I was a dog owner and I went up to Pina with her arms crossed, I'd be like, yes, ma'am, like, whatever you want, like, that's, like, whatever you say. Like,
Yeah, well, I don't release clients I just released one not too long ago, but that's like in years.
yeah.
Because I don't take shit anymore. I
Yeah.
am polite and professional, but I do not kiss their asses. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Everything is pretty honest about their dog and the haircut and what's happening and how they behave. I don't, sugarcoat shit either.
No.
But I never have fights with them, and they're always
No.
actually, if you're honest with the client, from my experience, about everything, but not nasty, and do not
Yes.
blame your clients for anything.
Yes.
That is the worst thing that you can do. They don't brush the dog. Why are they supposed to be brushing their dog? It's your job, not
No,
theirs.
I absolutely agree.
And it ends up in disappointment on
Yes.
both parts.
Yes.
So why do that? Don't ever blame your client, but be honest. And if you're honest enough, not enough, but completely, I really am not. The last one I fired is because the dog was dangerous.
Yeah.
And I'm not shy with difficult dogs. I do difficult dogs, that's fine.
Yeah.
And they're finally fine with me and love to come to the shop and all of that. But that dog was actually dangerous. And I knew, how you know after years of working with dogs,
It's totally.
you kind of know, you feel the vibe. And I
Yeah.
don't feel it very often, but that was it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to kind of, get my hands.
No, I'm like, these are my
These
livelihood.
are my livelihood.
So
I don't,
we're gonna take care of these guys.
and it wasn't a fight or it wasn't an issue. It was just I
Yeah.
want to save my hands. So that's another reason to release.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of bounce off what you were saying about the clear expectations, because like I said, if you're not clear in your expectations, you know very well that if you're going to do this long haircut, for instance, on this doodle per se, if you do a long haircut and you know the client's not going to come back in 6 weeks, you already know the dog's going to be a solid mat next time. And you didn't communicate with them like, hey, I can do this haircut for you this time, but it's going to be matted, next time. And again, they weren't aware of that. So they come 6 weeks later and you're thinking in your head, I knew it was going to be matted, I'm going to have to shave it. And they're like super upset or whatever the case. I see this from working in places where there's multiple groomers. It's just the owner genuinely sometimes do not know. You know, they're not aware that this long haircut without all this upkeep.
Groomers. They don't.
Yeah, they're not groomers. They
supposed to know
never
that.
assume that they know or that
Of
they did all the
course.
research, because a lot of times they don't, and that's okay because they're coming to a professional. They're coming to you.
Absolutely.
And it's our job just to have, again, a good relationship with them. You know, I talk to my clients like I always say like I don't have a super high pitched like customer service voice. I'm very like, hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. Like I talk to these people like they're my friends. They're an extended part of the family. Like I just talk very openly and real, communicate with them, and just let them know.
I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as part of my family,
Well, some of them I'm like.
but
They give me Christmas gifts,
you
and
gotta-
we're
I mean, you
homies.
yeah, I know, but you gotta be real.
Yeah, you
That's
just got to
all.
be real with them and
Just
communicate.
real.
Yeah.
And you know, I got my ass ripped by somebody on social media about shaving a Pomeranian. You know. So my point is, it's my client. She wants this haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I educated her on what could happen
Yeah.
with the Pomeranian coat. She said, okay, that's fine. So I'm doing the haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I was told I shouldn't be in this industry. I'm hurting the dog. I don't know anything about that. And what am I doing in the industry, especially teaching? And I just said, okay, bye, Felicia, whatever. But
Bye, Felicia.
I actually said that on Instagram. It's there.
I got to see this thread.
So I don't know where it is. It was a long time ago, but you can find it. I'm sure. It's a Merle Pomeranian on Groomhouse.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So are you gonna do what the client wants with educating them first, or are you just gonna send the client away and because of the ethical issues, which I don't see what ethical issue that is, but would you release the client or would you do it anyway?
Yeah, I would say like if it's the Pomeranian, you know, there's a lot of things going into that. So for the dogs, sometimes they've been clipped like their whole lives and they're totally fine.
Yeah.
So I can, if it's already been, you know, a process and it's been happening, the dogs are okay, you know, then I'll continue with that. I don't do like a 10 blade per se, but we'll do like a shorter guard comb trim or so forth. But
Right, no, but that's not what I'm saying. I know what you're talking about. I totally agree, but there is, the Pomeranian is in full coat, and the owner is asking you to cut it down to like a 5F blade. That's what they want.
and it's never been shaved
And
before?
and you explain and educate what could happen. It might happen, might not. Would you send this dog and lose the money somewhere else, or would you do it?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I would have a hard, if I know it's like that kind of Pomeranian that is tend to have,
But
you know,
you
like those
don't
cute
know
teddy bears.
that.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't ever
You
know
don't
that.
That's a tough predicament. I would just, you know, educate them, just try to do, you know,
You
a
already
guard
done
comb
that.
trim.
You already
and-
done that.
Yeah.
You educated them. They still want it.
Yeah.
And you really like the dog. The dog is wonderful. And the person pays whatever you want them to pay. That's what they want.
Yeah.
All
And
right?
if that's what they want, you know, that's what they
Right.
want. As long as you're
So
not gonna,
you're gonna lose the money and send the dog that you actually love on your table somewhere else because what? I'm not hurting the dog.
yeah.
I'm
At
hurting
least
the
you're doing a
goat.
5F, not like a 10 blade.
I never do a 10 blade, not me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't either.
I would never suggest anybody do a 10 blade on any kind of dog. Any kind of dog.
No.
You know, but 5F, maybe a 4, but a short Pomeranian. I'm not hurting the dog. And I know that. If I knew that I'm hurting the dog, I wouldn't do it. But I'm
Oh,
not.
no.
I'm hurting the coat.
Yeah.
Okay, and the owner wants that. Am I sending the dog somewhere else where I'm losing the money and losing a client that I love? Or am I doing the 5 blade? Fuck yes, I'm doing a 5 blade.
Right.
That's me. But I want to know what you feel like, or what are people thinking about that? And that goes with the doodle as well. Do you
Yeah.
shave them twice in 6 months? I mean, twice a year, every 6 months? Or do you educate the client to bring him more often so you can brush them so they're mat-free? That's a big issue out there
Yeah.
because a lot of groomers out there not confident enough to actually educate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They would just say, no, I won't do it, or yes, I'll do it and do a wrong job. You know what I mean? So do you believe in educating the clients?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I mean, I educate, of course, we're going to educate all of our clients. Like, I think, for instance, something that offhand is I just had a lab client that just came in, and she just moved here from California, and she's very adamant. She wanted the dog, like, buzz shaved. And I told her, like, we're in Texas. If I shaved your lab down, he's going to get sunburned. You know, it's a blonde lab. And I was like, it's so hot here. Your dog needs to have, you know, so we went through the whole process.
You're harming the dog that way. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because that's
There's
genuinely going to cause an issue. So, yes.
There's a thin line there, whether you're hurting the dog
Yeah.
or the coat,
Right.
right? And I had a veterinarian here on, we had, the guy just came up on my leg and I said, it's a sign. A veterinarian on Kirk, on the Pink Table Talk. And I specifically asked him that question because how many groomers are going to be, oh, we're not shaving double-coated dog, or yeah, I'm going to shave it with the 10 blade. What actually is about that? And yes, he said, why not shave a double-coated dog? As long as you don't expose it straight to the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I would shave a double-coated dog because it doesn't harm the dog, it harms the coat.
Yeah.
But if you expose the skin, you're harming the dog. So there's a thin line.
There's a thin line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's the topic. We can probably continue to go down a rabbit hole because there's just so many different.
I know.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to doodles. Any doodle questions? Specifically? It's kind of like Elizabeth.
I know. I have like a list too when I say my name, like Elizabeth. It's,
I love the name though. It's just.
I do. I've loved it as an adult. But when I was younger though, I was like, why is this so long? I hate this thing. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, okay, Elizabeth. So now I'll introduce myself as Elizabeth more.
It's a very pretty name.
Oh, thanks.
Do you have any tips for doodles that have a crest fall like a Wheaton?
A fall.
A fall. Oh, is that the one from the breed standard?
Oh, is that the one where they have like the
Yes, I
covers
think
on the
that's
eyes?
I think that's it, the breed standard.
It breaks my heart. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking. Those blinders. I call them blinders.
But it's right on the cover of the breed standard booklet.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Do you have that?
I don't have it, but
have
I've
that.
seen it.
I have it.
Oh,
It's right next to my Kerry Blue Illustrated Standard and a Poodle Illustrated Standard. No, it's a joke. But yes, there's a standard with that blinders thing. Is that okay?
yeah.
A dog can't see from the side.
Yeah, they can't see from the side. Me personally, and it's only because I'm at a point in my career where I can kind of like, you know, if I decide not to want to do a dog, like I feel very confident that, you know, another one that's my client will appear. I always let the client know, just so you know, this is really not my style of doodle trim. I love to see the, you know, the open mirror, the open eye, the teddy bear face. You know, I think to me, I kind of see it like, I'm an artist. And if you go to a tattooed artist that only does this style, but then you're like, hey, do this style, you know, and it's just like, that's not what that artist is known for, and it's not what they're comfortable doing. I kind of explain them like that, like that's not really my style of doodle trims, to do the big old covers on the side of the eyes. So I explain to them, you know, why and what my style is and how it's going to help, you know, it's going to last longer, the hair's not going to fall into the eyes, and so forth, and I basically discourage them not to do it and just let them know that we might not be a good fit. And it makes me sad, but it's just not my style, and I don't feel happy doing it.
I mean, if that's what we're talking about, the blinders is one
Yeah.
thing. But if it's a fall, it's a different thing. Because the dog could see much better when the sides are open.
Yeah.
When the sides are closed. Because all your terriers are seeing from the side eye, and they're fine. If you cover this and open this, I guess they could see too. I don't know, but to the side. It's just,
No, I don't know
it's
why
just
that's
weird.
necessary.
It's just weird.
It's
But like I said, would you turn the dog away or would you do it anyway?
I would, because this has happened to me in the last year, and I did do the dog. She still actually told me, I personally didn't do as much of the blinders. I did like a halfway of what she wanted and what I wanted. I was trying to like improvise a little bit, and she still wasn't happy. So I just kind of, actually, I don't think she came back actually after that. Yeah, we weren't a good fit. It's just not my.
She released herself.
Yes.
Yeah, she released herself.
Yes, she
couldn't
did.
do it.
I love that word. I am so going to use it. Oh my God.
Yes, so I would say that I do quite a few doodles, and all the ones that I get now, cute teddy face, like round ears. A lot of them have like the higher ear set, like my style legs. Like they're just like all like what something that I love, and that's kind of what just attracts me. And that's all I post on my Instagram, and they all tend to come, and they like me for that style of doodle.
So basically, I'm sure, which doodle is Gibbs doing tomorrow? The red one?
No, it's like a beige one. You haven't seen it yet, I don't think.
Oh, I've seen his. No, okay. It's a big one with the wavy coat.
It's like a mix.
Okay.
It's a wavy curly.
All right. So my question is, I absolutely, if I were to do doodles right now, I would probably love coat-wise the wavy ones.
Yeah.
Those scruffy looking ones when they're done. Why? Because one, they don't take that much time.
No, you don't have to really like fluff them all out.
Yeah. Two, that's on the, like, they remind me of a Portuguese water dog kind of coat. And it really is pretty to me. I
It is
like
pretty. I mean, I'm team curls over here, so.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm as curly as you are.
Yes.
So I like the curls, I
Yeah.
like the waves, and it
Yes.
really takes much less time than, let's say, scissoring a true poodle coat doodle, right?
Yes.
So
Totally agree.
I just did a 2-hour World Groom 10 seminar on a doodle, how to save time grooming a doodle, whatever. So I would just snap comb the body, skim down the legs, spray, and wave. So that takes 10 minutes, pretty much. And it looks really pretty to me. And then you scissor on the line, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you scissor the legs, and they don't need to be fluffed out or anything. They're waved. And so basically what you have to do is the round feet and that scruffy face. Too,
Yes.
right? So that's a really time-saving kind of haircut on the wavy coat on the doodle. And then you get your curly ones.
Yes.
And I experimented, and I did a curly doodle same way. So I kind of snap-on combed it, sprayed it, and marcelled it back. Looked beautiful. But wouldn't you say both haircuts, well, one takes a little longer than the other, but they're kind of like, you get, like you said, styles on doodles, right?
Yeah.
You get different coats, but they mainly kind of teddy bear haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you do. So you're kind of shorter body, snap-on comb, and then either skim or scissor legs, and
yeah, it's like the same.
It's like
the same thing for each one. It's just like a little different. Maybe I'll use different scissors on this hair type, or and so forth. But
so basically,
same blueprint.
Yeah. So basically, you don't have to think much about what to do on a doodle. It's either a teddy bear, shorter body, longer legs, or a shave down.
Yeah.
Right? So that's easy. And you're going to show tomorrow what different tools you use on different doodle haircuts, right?
Yeah, what different tools I use, and then just how I love a cute teddy bear, but also I'm really big about making it functional, because from somebody, again, I have dogs in show coat, I have standard poodles and so forth, and I don't even have time to go home and brush my dogs every single night before bed. So I don't want to do a haircut that, unless it's that client, that unicorn who genuinely brushes and combs every night, like they exist. But I want to make sure this cute haircut is functional for your everyday client. So I'm really big, with doing cute but functional. Where we can take it tight, we're gonna go over where we can take it tight.
Low maintenance, yeah.
As
But they
little
are
maintenance as
pretty
possible.
much blueprint of a teddy bear.
Yes. exactly, yeah.
And
Do you
then
ever
the
do-
shave down.
Do you ever do brush demos for your clients?
Oh, like to show them how to brush them out? I have on some of them, like when they would come to me, they'll ask me a question, I'll just show them real quick how I would brush them and then what brush I would use. I do that like here and there. But anytime they ever ask a brush question, I'm happy. I always send them which brush to get. I have it on Amazon. I'm like, get this one, get this comb. I love this dematting spray. And then I'll show them how to brush it out real quick.
What's your standard clip-on size, comb size for a doodle or spoodle?
Mine's a 1/2 inch on the back. I love a 1/2 inch guard comb on the body. That's, I would say if I had to just pick one, that would probably be my go-to. But I'd have some that I do an inch on. I have one that's 1 1/4 inch. And then I have some that are a 2 comb, or I have one actually that I do a 4 blade on the back. So it's kind of varieties.
What's a 1/2 inch? Is that like a 1?
There's one.
It's a 1? Mm-hmm. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah. I know. I would say the numbers all the time, but now everyone's like, I don't know the numbers. So I'm like, a 1/2 inch. So I actually had to adjust the verbiage as I've been teaching because everyone's like, what's a 1? Because
Like
a lot of the guard
grew
combs
up
don't have
on
print them
those
anymore.
wall snap-on combs.
Yeah, me too.
And
yeah.
they're like blue, what is it, like brown or
yeah,
peach?
like peach,
Uh-huh.
yellow. Red.
And I have one of my mentors calls them a shoe, a blue shoe, a peach shoe, a yellow shoe. No, it looks like a shoe.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not following.
Oh, it looks like
Now
a
I'm
shoe.
going to have to look at it and really analyze.
Yeah. Well, here, it looks like a shoe. It's a shoe.
Okay.
But yeah, so I kind of go by colors and not inches, because no, inches is.
Do you know if
Could
there's
be
a
funny.
book of different doodle styles in existence?
I know that Olga made a book, a doodle book. She has like a doodle magazine. I think it's like Styles, Creative
Yeah,
Styles
and there's
with
a
Olga.
DVD in the back too with some
Yes.
videos on it.
Yeah, she's a great groomer. So
So what is it, Styles Around the World or something like
something,
that?
yeah, something like that. She has a website too that if you go to Olga's website, I know it'll be on there.
It's Jersey Pets.
Yeah, Jersey Pets.
.com. She has a few breed little
Yeah, she has a
magazines.
few breed magazines. Yeah.
How many times do you recommend doodle parents come in for grooming?
Twice a month.
Yeah, I have all of my heavier coated doodles, they're on a 2-week schedule. And then the other ones are on typically 4 weeks, and then I have some that are on 6 weeks.
But you know, I feel like whoever is interested in learning how to brush their doodle, or buy a brush, or a dematting spray, those people will have no problem coming twice a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the same people.
Yeah, and they're usually the ones that like appreciate us more because they know how much work
Those
it is
are
to
the
brush
same
it out.
people.
Yeah.
And then I don't want them to brush the dogs for me. I really don't.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm always saying that, and people are always looking at me like I have 3 fucking heads.
Well, something I learned too, just from like you talked about, like really talking about prep work. If you really if you genuinely nail the prep work on a doodle, the haircut will last longer.
Yeah.
And I've learned that from having standard poodles. My standard poodle, when I first got him, I knew nothing about nothing, and I would, bathe and prep him. The hair, and it wouldn't last nearly as long. But once I genuinely learned how to prep, that haircut lasts longer. And then here we go again. Put the phone away.
Sorry.
But yeah, same for my reoccurring clients. When I genuinely learned how to thoroughly prep a dog, and those haircuts lasted longer.
Absolutely.
So that makes a huge
But then
difference.
there's a monthly maintenance that I used to do. I do a couple of dogs on it. Sometimes people like that. I don't know if I like that, but I do it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Whether I'm making more money or less money.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny to me. But they pay once a month and they bring the dog twice.
Oh, I don't
Yes.
I haven't met anyone personally that has that system, but I mean, if it works for them, I would be interested
I
in
have
hearing
a
about
couple
it.
of clients that really like that way, and they
Yeah.
just pay once a month, and one time is a haircut, one time is a bath and a brush out, and it works for them.
Yeah.
Not nearly all the clients, but some of them do.
Yeah.
But if it's not a monthly, then one haircut, one bath and brush out, that should be perfect for a doodle owner, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree.
If they're, like you said, 4 blades and really short legs, maybe that's not necessary.
Yeah, they can go a lot longer.
But if they want to keep the coat, like maybe, what's a 0, an inch?
5/8 of an inch
5/8 of an inch, and then A is an inch?
is 3/4 of an inch.
Fuck. What's an inch?
E-comb. It's that light
Really?
blue one.
E is an
Yeah.
inch?
You're
Wow.
like a walking
Okay,
conversion
whatever.
chart.
But if they want,
I love math. I'm like a total nerd with math.
no, not me. But if it's an inch haircut, then the legs are a little longer, right? If you do an inch on the body, then those should come twice a month.
Yes.
And if those want those haircuts, and if those people are asking you about a brush or a demo, whatever, they should have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Because they care, obviously.
Yeah, they care. They want their dogs to look nice.
And whoever don't care and don't ask you about the brushes will not brush the dog and bring the dog once in 4 months to be shaved.
Yeah.
Usually that's how it goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we shouldn't be lying to ourselves, really. Yes.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up with one pretty quick answered question.
We got
I'd
5
say.
minutes. 5
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah.
wow,
Rachel
it's
wants
pretty
to,
late.
yeah. Rachel wants to know: would you rather groom a poodle or a Bichon?
Rachel, is this Rachel?
Yes, it's Rachel.
my Rachel-
Yes,
Rachie-
it's
Rachie
Rachel.
Rachel?
It's Rachie.
Oh,
Rachie.
Rachie. That's tough. That's tough.
I have a feeling she knows, though.
Yeah. I'm, Bichon has got my heart. Poodles have my heart too, though. That's a really hard one. That's tough. And it depends on the day. But I would say probably a Bichon is probably number 1. And then poodle is like right here. They're like right there. Like I love a poodle. And I genuinely love grooming doodles too. So, yeah.
All right, yeah, we got a lot of other questions. Maybe if you guys have time, you can go into the comments and answer people. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah. We should probably go to sleep
Hopefully
soon.
we see everybody tomorrow.
Enjoy Florida.
Yes.
And
Yes,
please
I'm excited.
spread the word. It's going to be a really good one. Really good one. Doodles. Doodles. Come
Yes.
on, people.
All the doodles. Like, pick my brain. I love a
What
good
time?
question.
What
Let's
time
know.
tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. What time tomorrow?
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Eastern time.
Eastern time.
Replays for life, of course.
Yeah, replays for life. But if you watch live, then you can pick my brain and ask all the questions.
And is it,
And
how
then
much
there's all
is
these
it?
giveaways too.
$39.99. We're
there's
giving
a
away
really
a
nice
Metro
dryer.
Vac dryer from
Yeah.
Pet Store Direct. It's
That bad boy's
over
like
$612, something.
Yeah, $612. And then you're getting, it's like, I mean, I just played the lotto, right? And I definitely didn't win, but you have a lot better chance at getting this giveaway and getting this Metro Vac than I did at mine.
Yes.
My $1
Come
billion
on.
dreams did not come true.
But
The
guys, you got to
giveaways
sign
are
up before the
amazing.
live.
Gotta sign up before the live. You gotta,
Even if you
these
can't
are some pretty
join live.
sweet deals. Some
Yep.
pretty sweet giveaways.
As always, thank you, Gibbs.
Yes,
We'll see you
thank
tomorrow.
you for having me. I'll see you
I'm
all tomorrow.
excited. I'm going to
Yes.
be watching.
Uh-oh.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Have a
Bye,
good
y'all.
night. Bye.